My publisher also was very kind enough to give a passcode for you to get an additional 20% off of any books you'd like from EduMatch Publishing. So if you want to, Aaron's got that information. There's children's books, professional development books, etc. But what I'm here to talk about is why. And I bet many of you are probably at this point in time of the year going, why am I still here? If I could have a show of hands of how many of you have that either end of school calendar going, or you've got at least in your head a mental countdown. Anybody got a mental countdown going? Some of you. My students pieced out Cub Scout today. Today was their last day in class in college. And so they were very excited that today was their last class. So it begs the question, why get involved in an education field in general? Why would we do this? Well, for a lot of folks, we got involved in education because, of course, we wanted to make a ton of money and have our summers off, right? Exactly. I know. Anytime I open with that line, I get people going, whoa, wait, slow down. It's not about the money. It's certainly not about the time off. I also think that from my perspective, one of the things I have learned is that youth is wasted on the young, dang it. I don't know how many times I have thought back to the beginning of my teaching career, whether it be at Little Valley, New York, out in Cattaraugus County, New York, south of Buffalo, or in Sydney, and thought, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I cannot believe I did that lesson. And then I realized that that lesson's been 20 years ago. How did that happen? How did I get to be mid-career? So I don't know about all of you, but I'm sure many of you look at your students that are in front of you day in and day out, or even those new novice teachers that are beginning to do their rounds with you as we're interviewing, because this is, after all, interview season, and you're going, oh, you don't even know what you're in for. And some of you are going, oh, you don't even know what you're in for, because it's wonderful. And I'd like to share with you all this idea, this concept about why it's wonderful. And again, it starts with finding your why. Well, first and foremost, we need to talk about why we all got into education. It is the reason that we got into education, and it is the central core. It is what keeps us up at our desks until awful hours during the evening correcting. It keeps us sitting there with a student who is thinking, when am I ever going to need to use this math? Or it's with the student who says, what do I need to know about how to elect a president? That's never going to come up in my life. Drum roll, please, right? Or how do we talk to students about the ecology or the biology of their human existence? Or how many times has a student said, I don't understand why you do this? Because, well, quite frankly, I'm bored. And your response is, I know you're bored, but this isn't technology class, and we're not doing woodworking today. Yes, I do have to warn you, Aaron knows this, my humor is terrible, so if you don't laugh at me, then laugh with me. I'd prefer you laugh with me than at me. The other area that we think about is that finding your why is also about your overriding narrative. For me, going into teaching started when I was a young wit behind the years camp counselor. I taught summer camp for the Scouts because, well, quite frankly, I did not want to flip hamburgers. And my parents said I needed to make some money because of that impending doom of college. And I also realized that I was just good enough to not qualify for a scholarship, but just talented enough to want one. So what I did was I worked over many summers, 4 to be exact, teaching merit badges to young scouts. And I'll tell you, one of the most interesting things that you learn about your why in education was I thought we do so many unique points and we do so many unique stories. Why don't they actually happen? Well, it's because we really forget that for us in education, we're mission driven, we're people centered, and quite frankly, we're exhausted. I don't know all about you, but I do feel like I want to be voted off of this Survivor Island this year. However, what I am rapidly looking for is the fact that time will pass. Hopefully, I won't soon. And I think one of the other points that we also think about is as educators is that we want something to be better in life. I am inspired by the fact that as a young novice educator, I had the opportunity to work with some of the most amazing students I have ever met in my life. I ran into one of them when I was interviewing for a school administrator position, and there she was, a first-time mom at 16, married to her high school sweetheart, in my class, having changed her last name, and yet some of the teachers in the building refused to call her by her last name that she had taken on sacred vows at an altar because they thought, well, she didn't deserve it. Because after all, 16-year-olds shouldn't be married and having babies. But there she was almost 20 years later, applying for an assistant superintendency, having married a different person and having 3 children with him, but now a leader in her community and also a number of surrounding communities. This young lady who I tried desperately to get to go to my alma mater at Fredonia wound up starting her time at Jamestown Community College. And from there, she went on to St. Bonaventure, where she got her bachelor's degree in teaching. And she became a special educator. And one of the things that this young lady proved to me, as have almost all of my students, who, when you realize, oh boy, this is going to be a rough one this year, is that if we believe in them, they will believe in themselves. And I think that it's clear that we also have a profound point to understand, which is if you are feeling overwhelmed or anxious, it may be because you don't have a clear understanding of your why. You may be trying to live up to somebody else's why, and you're out of line with your own unique purpose. I believe very firmly that what we need to look at is this concept of what is our why. What are we willing to do? What do we value? What is our purpose? What is our identity? And what do we hold of importance? For me, it's being a rural educator who grew up on the banks of the Susquehanna. For me, it is a teacher who, thinking into the classrooms nowadays, I see so many students struggle just to be, let alone to strive. I also think my why came to me as I grew and developed, because originally I wanted to go into teaching because I thought that history had a great story to tell, and that I very emphatically wanted to tell it better. History is not boring. History is engaging. History is also written by those who hang the heroes, so saith some movies. But I also think as I went to teach at Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute, where I taught leadership and team dynamics in STEM classes, I began to realize what a privilege and a position I had. Because now I was working with some of the students who were the best and the brightest from Sherburne, Earlville, from other areas within the community, out in the rural parts of New York State. And what I realized was that I wanted to get to the heart of the why, which was this. And Simon Sinek talks about it in his Golden Circle book. We don't really care about what you do. We don't really care how you do it. We really care about why you do it, because we want to get to the heart of the feelings. And what I realized, ladies and gentlemen, is this, that we as a profession have not necessarily grasped how strong supports our students, our friends, our families, our neighbors, our colleagues, and our others actually need from us. And the reason why we haven't grasped that is because day in and day out, ladies and gentlemen and folks, we go to school being superheroes. But we don't realize that when we walk in the door and we take our capes off so that we don't actually show it to our students, we leave aside the fact that we have carrying with us the baggage, the experience of why. And again, going back to those STEM students at Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute, I realized my why was not so much about telling history, but my why was to help my community. You see, I suffered a tragedy as a young person, and I write about it in my book. When I was living in Gloversville, my mother became pregnant with the third Jakubowski boy, Adam. And yet she suffered from immense motion sickness in the morning and morning sickness. So the doctor prescribed a medication to her, but the medication, however, was not, how shall we say, the best. And so in 1983, my angel brother was born with part of a lung missing, with multiple holes in his heart, and 3 feet of his intestines not there. And as I went into the hospital in Albany to see my little brother, I thought, why did this happen? And what I realized as I grew after he had passed that April was that I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to help others. I also became a Boy Scout, and our motto and our oath is to help others at all times. But 10th grade biology taught me, as I unfortunately regurgitated lunch on Laura Schleyline, I could not be somebody who could dissect frogs, and I could not deal with blood. But I was going to help others. I just hadn't found my niche. And so as I sat there teaching leadership and ethics and the golden circle to my students, and I told them the story of Adam, and I told them how my parents cried, and I told them how 30 years later it still hurts. And I asked them, I said, please help me find my why, which is to make sure that somebody will say, stop, that's not right. Because if one person had said, stop, that's not right, when that medication was created, so many families wouldn't have suffered. And I still suffer today. My students created amazing, amazing solutions to problems. They created walkers to help the elderly. They created book carts so our librarians would not strain their backs. But one group, I don't know how or why, but one group said, we don't want any child to die again. And so they created a blanket that would start CPR on an infant in a crib and alert 911. And then when I told them about how most Americans in rural communities don't have the internet, they became angry. And they said, well, not only are we going to create a blanket, but we'll figure out a radio transponder too. And they did that project too. And so what I have the opportunity to say to you today, and I want to thank Aaron so much for this time, is that our why in education is not about standards. It's not about tests. It's about looking somebody in the eye and saying, I believe in you. I trust you. I'm rooting for you. And for me, my why is to help others achieve so that they can do amazing work. Because while I may never save a baby, I have 6 young people who've created a device that will save babies. And now that they're 25 and 26 and they're moving on, they still Facebook message me. And they donated the first check to the hospital he was born in. It was small, it was only $50. But it meant I found my reason why. Because I believed in them and they believed in me. You all have this wonderful opportunity going forward, ladies and gentlemen, folks, in this year of hell and in your careers to stop a student from harming themselves, from going without, but also more importantly, believing in themselves. And maybe, just maybe, and we say this sometimes, oh yeah, I got the brain group. But you may legitimately have the young person who invents the cure for cancer. Or you may have the future diplomat who stops a war. Or you may have a police officer who actually saves a baby from a car accident. We are the only profession that is tasked with raising the knowledge, skill, and ability of all the citizens of New York. And we are the only profession who walks in that door every morning and goes, I'm here, come at me, because I am going to protect you from the evil. And that, ladies and gentlemen, means you have my permission to pick back up your superhero cape. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you so much, Casey. That was incredible. That was amazing and so moving. It's hard to follow that up. We are going to follow up, though, with our presentation of celebrating teachers and their accomplishments this year. So we're going to start off by recognizing those people who have presented programs for us this year. We had Sarah Sheenfield present to us on finding a groove in a hybrid classroom for the Kaplan Network. It was really amazing. Naomi Graham presented to the Kaplan Network 2 programs on comprehensible input. Liz Brown presented to the Science Network on MeWes, and we will be working with them for a program over the summer. There's 23 teachers already signed up for their program. And Jessica Matheson presented with her. We were really excited to be a part of the National Board cohorts, and we ran a National Board Writing Institute. We were one of the only ones in the state that was able to continue to go through the pandemic. So we had several people that supported us with that. There's Kim Smith, Libby Phillips, Trish Barboni, Michelle Jones, Harry Mess, Maria Fenton, Laura Moretti, Laura Havel, and Regina Anderson. We had a really fantastic turnout at our legislative forum, and Marianne Mossman talked about the partnership that we've developed with Otsego System of Care and the work that we're doing with Cognito. Regina Anderson again talked about the importance of national board certification. And then we had Assembly John Salka, Assemblyman Chris Tay, Senator Peter Oberrocker, Chelsea Glenn came representing Congressman Delgado, Laura Martino came representing Rachel May, and we were really blessed to have Susan Mittler join us, Regent Mittler. And Dan Johnson also came and presented to us on for the Science Network. And we had Pat Trudeau and Mitch Samet do a couple of day training on suicide awareness. Sandra Mopsy is a local LTA, and she asked if she could do a presentation for the LTA network on learning in the brain. It was fantastic. We love seeing people be able to present and teach to each other. Cameron Daniels came and presented legal updates. Candace Black from State Ed came and presented on some of the changes that are occurring in the world language standards. Andy Mason presented how to watch hawks at Franklin Mountain. And Ginny Terry and Frankie Graham both presented on supporting LGBTQ students in your classroom. And Stephanie Watson presented to Kaplan Network. And Christina Davis did a presentation for our Cyber Monday tech support group. Sharon Domine started out the year with our digital portfolio assessments and how to create one of those. And Valerie Secor, Jim Smith, and Dr. Nicole Wade all worked on Constitution Day with us. So we did some great programming this year. Oh, that's my notes. Okay, so the next thing we have is collaborating teachers. There's likely nothing so valuable in education as the ability to turn theory into practice. Collaborating teachers must find the delicate balance between nurturing and supporting, while at the same time to ensure potential teachers maintain a high level of expectations and standards. The support of cooperating teachers is crucial to the development of highly successful teacher leaders. The future of our profession is literally shaped by these teachers. Amy Downey, a former intern and policy board member, has been graciously volunteering approximately 20 hours per week. Many of the components in this annual meeting would not have been possible without our work behind the scenes. We will call off teachers that have RSVP'd. Actually, we're just gonna call off the teachers. And I'll pause after each minute, each name. And if you are here, we would love for you to just say hi so the camera can zoom in on you and we can put a face to the name. All right, so we're gonna start with the cooperating teachers from Hartwick College. Ashley Sickler, Melanie Durham, Dominic DiPerio, Greg Norris, Amy Hoxie, Tim Iverson, Tina Woodishek, Jamie Lane Hassan, Adrian Clark, Anne-Marie Winchester, Alyssa Leroy, David Kettlebaum, Nathan Cutting, Justin Korsek, and then we're going to move on to those from SUNY Oneonta. Mark Davies, I see that you're here. Do you want to introduce these? Putting him on the spot, but no, okay, I'm going to do that because I'm not sure. I put him on the spot. I didn't chat with him earlier. Wendy Madden. Todd Yanseska, Jennifer DeYoung, Kirsten Fetterman, Sarah Lucas, Michael McGrath, Sarah Lucas, Michelle Polcario, Danielle Umbra, Penny Biltucci, John Brotherton, Eldridge, Glenn Milto, Dina Diaboro, Michelle Pauluck, Kathleen Albright, Ro Avila, Julie Rajavad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. Thomas Connell, Lynn Talbot, Kim Bro, Gina Farrell, Jamie Gabrielle, Lynn Gould, Deb Iannelli, Jamie Privatera, Francis Romano, Kari Ruff Rivera, Thea Van Buren, Janine Brewer, Jenna Buttress, Kimberly Morris Shin, Jonathan Powers, Tom Dorado, Melissa Pecco, Q Jones, Jessica Schilnecker, Walter Truesdell, Jennifer Mason, Matthew McCulchick, Jamie McCulchick, Jamie Dowell, Melissa Brockway, Lee Ferrara, Abby Fernari, Lisa Lutzik, Anna Rossi, Jennifer Sitz, Elisa Mouchette, Claudia Teft, Heather Pizza, Kate Elder, Ashley Denarin, Colleen Andrew, Kimberly Bode, Suzanne Johnson, Gabrielle Letterman, Julie McKay, Jacqueline Scaling, Dawn Kaminsky, Diana Brady, Melanie Palowski, Tanya Law, Stacy Davis, Erica Ricard, Veronica Copley, Jamie Lynn Pisana, Ashley Stickler, Lisa Bundy, Lori DePau, Renee Stetano, Christine Davis, Jessica Morton, Michelle Sakari, Caitlin Wayman, Mike Wambacher, Deborah Little, Julie Shelp, Catherine Gorman, Paula Wells, Linda Becko, Daniel Tucker, Wendy Taylor, Christine Strife, Elisa Horton, Renee Vilbrin, Catherine Lean, Nicole Skarowski, Candy Glockle, Rebecca Seeley, Nick Worth, Pat Lakota. And so thank you very much for all those teachers willing to take on student teachers. The next thing that we wanted to recognize and celebrate is association presidents. Teacher centers are required by law to be run by a policy board. This policy board must have a majority of teachers on the board. These teachers are appointed by the local association presidents. Since we are a large consortium, not all school districts are represented. In this case, we have district appointed members and all association presidents present at this annual meeting will vote to approve the appointments. Association presidents, please make sure you stay on for this vote. As I call your name, please unmute your mic and say hi so we can put a face with the name. So we know that we have on here, we have Beatrice Webb. So if you look at the Catskill camera, you'll see that Beatrice Webb's certificate should be present. And then we also have Ruth. Oh, why don't you say hi, B?
There I am. Hi. Sorry about that.
And then we have Ruth Boldinger here as well. You want to say hi?
Hi, everyone.
We appreciate you guys being here. And I'm going to call out the other association presidents. Christine McCaw Hopkins, Larry Miller, Victoria Gregory, Elisa Hardy, Brian Rolfe, Janine Rosner, Heather Edgia, Deborah Bartholomew, Erica Granger, Maria Schofield, Melissa Hatcher, Eric Cunningham, Jenny Oskowski, Holly Abbott, Paula Dewey, Keith George, Ruth Modinger, David Larmette, Nathan Hoyt, Deborah Morby, Christine Podrickus, Joanne Clayton, Lori Peck, Beverly Murch, Diane Ballard, Beatrice Webb, Mike Iannelli, Tim Nobling, Susan Hall, Shannon Rickton, Rebecca Matter Chen, Michael Wambacher, Michelle Pindar, Emily Hall, Shannon Hunt, Mary Beth Murdoch, Karen Murray. Oh. Building ambassadors are the conduit between the Catskill Regional Teacher Center and the teachers in the individual buildings. Building ambassadors are selected by association presidents, and they share their work that the Catskill Regional Teacher Center is doing with their teachers and relay the needs of their teachers back to us. We would like to thank and recognize all of our building ambassadors. So we have Thomas Wheeler, Christina McCall Hopkins, Danielle Umbra, Andy Dusler, Kathy Vigneres, Bonnie Schonhofer, Michelle Temming, Brian Rolfe, Stephanie Champlin, Becky Esteglia, Maria Schofield, Sandra Barnes, Jean Norris, Bernie Jackson, George Brown, Rich Turnbull, Jen Ostrom, Courtney Emerson, Julie Bogardus, Michelle Rice, Andrea Greer, Karen Murray, Elizabeth Wunderlich, Christina Bennett, Louis Barrios, Jean Marie Colony, Jennifer Finkel, Jennifer Lumberg, Erin Seals, Ann Reese, Jackie Savoy, Michael Stensland, Amy Wilson, Rose Acano, Dave Miller, Beth Tanzer, Caitlin Smith, Melanie Ferrara, Gabby Peterson, Jamie Privatera, Renee Scott, Megan Fulkerson, Neil Sendecker, Rebecca LeBron, Danielle Beach, Stephanie Watson, John Kinchilo, Nathan Hoyt, Jennifer Kurzmick, Tracy Lanner, Maura Iaro, Tammy Miller, Tim Lowy, Samantha Herman, Daniel Umbra, and Andrea Greer. Thank you to all the building ambassadors. So we have senior associates. Senior associates are former teachers that have retired from the field but want to stay active. These associates serve as an advisory board and will provide support wherever needed. Senior associates have volunteered their time, and we are grateful for their work behind the scenes. We would like to ask the association presidents to keep us abreast of district retirees so that we may reach out to them to see if they would like to be senior associates. So we have Marianne Luciano. You want to say hi, Marianne?
Hello.
Oh, all right.
Hello.
Diana Torter,
Hello.
Robert Rowan, and Fran Hess. And then we have our policy board. The policy board members are directly responsible for the operations and functionings of the Catskill Regional Teacher Center. Our board is comprised of strong teacher leaders, administrators, parents, and business members. Our board is an active board. This is a board where everyone's voice is heard and valued. It is not a rubber stamp board. Decisions are truly discussed and debated. Again, we would like to thank our association presidents for ensuring that we have strong teacher leaders appointed to this board. Andrea Greer, Ariane Tubia, Caitlin Smith, Christine Davis, Deb Muller, Doug Karn, Elizabeth Barber Breeze, Michael Stenlin, Michelle Decker, MJ Colony, Renee Vilbrin, Sarah Ingalls, Star Banner, Stephanie Watson, Steve Seminary, Nathaniel Roberts, Courtney Cunningham, Jan Latham, Robin Pfeiffer, Stacy Ward, Teresa Glavin, Diana Torta, Ariel Cruz, Susan Swantek Furman, Tim Ryan, Susan Filippi, Paula Guerrera. So you guys will notice that it says 7 hours. We haven't tallied up all those hours yet. We will do that before we send that off to you. This was a decision made several years ago with the idea that if you so wanted, you could ask the district to put this in your files. So the last thing that we have is national board recipients. There's nothing there is likely nothing that symbolizes dedication and achievement more than achieving national board certification. Less than 1% of New York State teachers and 3% of teachers nationwide can claim that they are accomplished teachers. National board candidates sacrifice tremendous time to meet this high level of standards. The Catskill Regional Teacher Center is proud to support teachers as they seek this quality of teaching. At this time, I'd like to present a special award to 2 teachers who have achieved this year. The award comes with a letter from the New York State Senator Michelle Hinchy, recognizing their great accomplishments. These awards are presented to Amy Moore. Okay. Oh, no, it's not working. Terrific. Oh. So there's a really nice letter from Senator Hinchy's office and a beautiful certificate of recognition. So if you guys are looking at the Catskill Regional Teacher camera, you'll see it there. So that was Amy Moore's. And here's Michael Porter's. So it comes with a nice letter. And certificate from the New York State Senate. So Mike, that's coming to you. So at this time, we're going to turn it over to Mike for closing remarks. I'd like to remind the policy board members and the association presidents that we do have a business component to this meeting. All others are welcome to stay for the meeting, or they may leave following Mike's closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you everybody for having me today. Just want to confirm you can hear me all right? Okay, great. Well, it's true, I did achieve national board certification over the past year, and Aaron asked me to just kind of share with you guys my experience with national board and what the journey was like. And, you know, I first learned about national board, I think it was my first year teaching, and we had a veteran teacher. She was close to retirement. Her name was Maria Constantinides. And I remember sitting down with her for a few minutes during my first year, and she talked about the process and how fulfilling it was and how much she got from it. But that early on in my career, my first year teaching, it was, you know, not possible. And I didn't even really put it on my radar. I thought, well, maybe someday. That's a neat idea. And then I think maybe around my 5th year teaching, a couple colleagues came over to my house one summer night, and they brought this huge binder, and they wanted to talk about national board certification. And I felt a little bit more comfortable in the classroom at that point. It was kind of something that maybe I could attempt, but still, you know, I teach at Wyndham National and Jewett. It's a small district, and as it is now, I teach something like 11 or 12 preps. And for the first 5 to 8 years of my career, they were having me teach a new course every year. Every year I was a first-year teacher with something, whether it was, you know, public speaking or a theater class or marketing or 7th grade study skills, 7th grade social studies, and so I just still didn't feel quite settled and confident enough to tackle something like national board certification. But I think it was in 2019 at a union meeting, it came up that one colleague had achieved, and some others were attempting it. And so at that point, my schedule had settled down. I felt like I had become a competent, accomplished teacher, and I was ready for kind of the next step of achievement. And I thought, well, gosh, if one of my colleagues, Dan Ching Lee, science teacher, if she was able to do it in a year, what the heck, I'll try it too and see if I can do it. And a couple other colleagues were trying it at the same time as me simultaneously. So we thought we could be kind of a support structure for each other. So I did it. And the Albert Schenker grant was great. It helps to defray some of the cost and really will pay for the experience aside from the registration fee. That was wonderful. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from students, from teachers. People have been really congratulated me a lot. And you know, I've heard from a distant cousin who was a teacher contacted my mom and said, I saw Mike in the New York State Union thing, and a board member contacted me, and my neighbor that lives next to my parents, who's a retired teacher, she saw it. And so I'm getting contacted from all these people all over the state who saw my name. And I was not expecting that at all. I wasn't expecting kind of this outpouring of congratulations and support for having achieved national board certification. And so I think there's this really wonderful developing culture, or I'm just realizing that this culture that already exists in New York State that is really kind of prioritizing this and saying that this is a good thing that teachers should strive toward. And so that's pretty much it as far as my experience, I guess. It looks like it's 5:15, and did you want to move on now, Aaron?
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it very much. And sure, we're going to move on to the business part of our meeting. Like I said, you're welcome to stay and see what we do, or this is a good time to exit if you so choose. Let me share my screen here.
Thank you, Mike.
Welcome. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your year.
My best to take attendance as we're going here. Does this look correct? I know we just lost MJ.
Yeah, we lost MJ.
What? I think that to change. Ugh. All right, we'll have to fix that later. Do we have her out there? It should be formed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What do we need? 50%, Aaron?
We need 50% of the people present. 50% must be teachers, and then we need at least 15 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we
16,
just
woohoo!
right? Did I count right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6. I did count right. Okay. All right.
I can't read it. It's too little on my screen.
All right. So we need you to call the meeting to order.
Yep. All right. I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:17.
And Renee seconds that.
All right. Can we consent to suspend the rules of order? Otherwise, we have to do all the reports and everything first. If there are no objections, then we can go ahead and suspend the rules. If there are objections, then we need to note them and continue.
Okay, so if you have any objections, please unmute your microphones and let us know now.
Good. All right, so the first thing we need to do is propose, approve the new bylaw changes. Let's see, how do we? I'm gonna go with the changes so I can explain them.
Yeah, with the changes, I think is the easiest way. So hopefully you guys could review this because Erin sent this out in the agenda before. But if is there any questions on the changes? I know I had asked Erin for some clarification, so please speak up if you do have any questions.
Okay, so just to point out a few things, Dawn had said to me that if we had left it up the way it was, we would have had to have 2 representatives or no representatives. So that's why we changed that language to say up to. We're changing this from 1 LTA, from 2 to 1 LTA because the DCMO side is very difficult to run an LTA for. And we really want to keep that in the right balance anyway. We are looking to keep the early childhood, but we're just including how that person is to be added to the board. And then we're going to add in 1 non-union represented educator is nominated by the board president. So we can think of substitute teachers or part-time teachers. And we got rid of the 2 pre-service teachers. This was at Dawn's request. And so what we're proposing is that we're going to keep Ariel on, and we are actually picking up somebody from Harvard College, and they will be the student liaison to the policy board, but they will not have an official vote. And then we are getting rid of non-voting members due to open meetings law. Anybody is allowed to come to a policy board meeting, and so the idea of having a non-voting member didn't really make sense. The method of selection is actually addressed up in the representation part. And I think that was it. We got rid of the executive committee is empowered because that violates the open meetings law. Okay. So the new proposed bylaws would look like this. And again, like Sarah said, hopefully you guys all look it over. So if there's any questions, we need a motion.
So I just need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the bylaws with changes. Star.
I second it.
Right? Susan?
Susan, yep.
Yes.
Okay, so for this part, I do need you to turn your cameras on.
And this is a vote by the current policy board members.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. I guess I didn't really leave a lot.
Just so we know, if the motion has to carry unanimously, if it does not, then we need to do a voice vote.
Don't click not approve.
Oh, shoot.
There you go. Okay. So now we need to, I think this is just moving, like we talked about last meeting, it was just moving things around, right, Aaron?
Yes, so we have an opening at the we have somebody who could come in at the elementary level, so we need to move Sue from at-large to secondary so that we can fill the at-large position.
Okay, perfect. So we need a motion to move Susan to the at-large, so then we have the room for the secondary teacher, just moving people around. So I just need a motion for that.
Presidents, because they are the ones that are actually in charge of the bylaws.
Oh, okay, so just the associate presidents. vote on
Sarah,
this?
I'll
Yeah.
make a motion. This is Ruth Modinger.
Thank you.
And
I can second that.
second.
I'll pitch this down there. And then it was that B?
Yes.
And just those two vote on that, Aaron?
That's who's present.
Okay, so Ruth and B, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect, I heard two.
All right, so then this again is by association presidents. I did send out the board meeting minutes to everybody, I hope, our agenda. Monica Wolf is a PE teacher from Cooperstown, and her resume is attached there. You guys can quickly look at that if you haven't done so already. Deb Davies is an elementary teacher. She will be representing DCMO BOCES. She's a teacher at Gilbertville Mount Upton. And Michelle Temming is going to be representing DCMO BOCES at large, and she will be Delaware Academy, or Delaware, yes.
Okay, so I just need, I think Ruth and B again to motion to approve the 3 new members of the board.
So this is B Web. I can move to approve.
Thank you.
This is Ruth Modinger, and I'll second it.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Aaron,
Yes.
can you just I'm just so that we don't have to look back and correct this later. B's only got, you got too many B's for B Web. If we're just making sure the minutes are up, you just have to lose one of those B's for the motion. Ironically. Sounded funny saying it, but just to make sure it's up on. Thanks. Thanks, Aaron.
I don't know what I do with board minutes. But let's see if we can. Here.
I think they were there, maybe.
Are they
not.
there? I don't see them. I thought I had put them in, but I don't see them.
They're there.
The board minutes are there?
I thought they were.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. The director's report is, but the minutes aren't. I don't know what I swore I clicked that before, but I don't know.
The section up further that these are the things that you should read to be prepared. So it's possible that it was there. That's part of the problem. I have to hyperlink it in so many places. All right, but this is the minutes.
Okay, so we just need a motion to accept April 13th minutes.
I'm gonna scan through it quickly here. For
I'll
you.
make that motion. Star banner.
You Star.
I'll second that, Renee.
Unfortunately, Aaron also is the secretary right now. Okay, camera's on. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aaron, it's RENEE, not that it really matters.
Oh, okay. I was gonna double check that later.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Oh, this one has to be, I guess, everything has to be unanimous now?
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
Yeah, the way Dawn explained it to me also, she said it's approval of the full board makeup. So if
Okay.
30 people and 15 show up and one says no, then it doesn't pass.
Okay.
What she tells me. All right, any questions on the treasurer's report or the director's report?
Okay, if there's no questions on either of those reports, I do need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion. Sue.
Do you want me to talk about the treasurer's report for a second?
Sure, Diana.
Okay. I did want to say thank you to BOCES in that they are working on an email of approval of our changes from Dawn. They haven't gotten the official letter yet, but they're still going ahead. And good thing they are, because so far we only had the 3D printer completely approved. And it's their busy time, and BOCES has to meet first, the board has to meet first and give approval for our presenters and our other things that we had wanted in our changes. And good thing we started early doing this, because we're still waiting for approval. So I'm glad that things are in the process, in other words, but we're still waiting for more approval. Any questions?
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so I know Sue made a motion. Sue, are you still okay with making a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and then I need a second.
I'll second it, Michelle Decker.
Thanks, Michelle. Okay. Cameras on. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Dane?
We didn't officially approve the FS from the last time. So that's what we need to do. We just need to approve that FS10. We did talk about all the funding expenditures. Nothing has changed since the last discussion on that. Hopefully you guys got a chance to take a look at this. As you know, almost everything is accounted for. And there's just no money other than what's already been dictated to us.
So if you have any questions on the FS10 that we talked about, I think it was the April meeting the last time. If not, then I need a motion.
I'll
I can make a motion.
Susan.
So Robin, and I don't know, I didn't catch the other one.
I'll second it, Star.
Thanks, Star. Okay, cameras on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or opposed? I'm trying to make sure all the cameras are on. Abstain? Motion carries.
So then these would be the policy board dates and approvals for next year. There was a couple of changes off of the original list I gave you. So if anybody is like super proactive and already wrote them down, I believe it was November 9th, I had down as the 10th, and Diana pointed out that that was a Wednesday, not Tuesday. And then the other one, we had April 22nd or something like that, and that's just way too late. So we moved that to the first week of April. The break is the second week, so we're not in the way of that.
That was good that it was both breaks, right? Do we have the same breaks next year? Does anyone know?
Well,
Sometimes ONC and DCMO have different breaks.
yeah, I believe they're both the same week next year.
Okay, good. Okay, so I need a motion to accept the meeting dates for next year.
I make a motion to accept the meeting dates. Christine Davis.
Thanks, Christine. And then a second.
Second, Stephanie.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, cameras on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries.
You know what we didn't do, Sarah, and I don't know if we want to do it now or not, but we did not vote for a slate of officers to start in at July 1st.
Yeah, I think we need to do that.
I
Did you get any recommendations?
did not, no.
We really need a secretary, and there's a lot of people on right now, so is anyone willing to do that for us next year? Well,
If
first I
we
should say,
Need someone, I will.
oh, who said that?
Christine Davis.
Woohoo!
Yes, nobody ever wants that job, so yay. Thanks for taking that, Christine.
I guess I should have started with, does anyone want to take my job?
Nope.
Do such an awesome job. We want you right where you are.
Right. Stay right where you are.
Keeping Deb Muller
Yep.
That's the plan.
job.
As long as Deb's still willing. Where are you, Deb? You're being quiet today. Do we lose her?
She was on. I don't see her now.
Just a heads
Okay.
up, I am taking some classes next year. So as long as our meetings fall somewhere around this time, I think I will be okay, but I haven't gotten my class schedule yet.
They'll be at this time.
Okay, hopefully my class doesn't have a conflict.
Christine, if you need a substitute when you're not here, I can take on. This is Renee.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Renee.
Treasurer, anybody want to step into that role? Or are we sending it back to Diana Torta if she's willing?
Diana's going to be our treasurer forever. We've already established this. Been on here forever, and you're always going to be there.
That's okay. Whatever you want.
Okay, so then I just need a motion to accept the officers.
I make a motion to accept the slate of officers.
Teresa, thank you for the endorsement.
Anytime, anytime. You literally have been the treasurer since I've been on this. I'm like forever. So you know what you're
Just
doing.
one S, Aaron.
All right. And if
To
this-
second that, Star?
Okay, last vote, I think. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Shoulders and stay right there. Drop your hip down.
There's Deb. We just voted you back in, Deb. Abstain? Motion carries.
And I just want to clarify that our terms go until June 30th. So all of you that are still on the board Your term doesn't expire until June 30th, and it could be important if there is an emergency meeting of some sort. All those who just got approved, your term will start July 1st.
Okay, so then I just need a motion to adjourn.
Stephanie, motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'll second then.
I always have so many volunteers to adjourn. I don't understand. I have to bring a little comic relief in.
Who seconded?
Christine.
Davis.
I know we're all kind of quiet today. It's
You
must be the
are.
way- yeah, must be the way it all started. I don't know.
I guess, should you put the time to 5:38, Aaron? I don't know.
I have to say, we got through a whole presentation and a significant meeting all within the time.
You know what?
We
I think
got
it's
this.
because we had the presidents here, and I think they helped us stay on task. So I say they come every time.
Yes.
To run to 6:30 with this the standard meeting, so this is good.
I know.
Thank you, Ruth and B. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
In my refrigerator, Ruth.
Aye.
Aye.
1 minute up.
Congratulations, new policy board members. We're really excited to be working with you guys, and we'll do an orientation and everything when your term starts.
We do owe B and Ruth some food.
Yes. And normally pre-COVID, right?
I know.
Snacks, and it was nice.
I thought we were gonna get a couple more policy association members, because a couple other ones had RSVP that they were coming, but
Well, hopefully next year we can be back at college camp and have some food.
next year I think I'm just gonna scroll across the names or something. I practiced those names and I butchered all of them that I practiced.
You tried, Aaron, you tried.
You got Eric's right, Aaron.
Well, there we go. We got one right.
Okay, guys, if you don't have anything, that is the end of the meeting, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. You can stop recording maybe, Aaron. I don't know if that ends the meeting.
What's that?
If you stop recording, does it end the meeting?
Oh, stop recording. Where's the record thing?
At the bottom, I think. There we go.
No, that was the screen share. There's the recording up there.